Hello, everyone. I'm Daniel, and I am here to talk about the next campaign that I'll be playing, but will not be on my channel because I'm also here to introduce to you Superfeng99. This is not a scenario review, but actually a campaign playthrough that we did together.
Hello.
All right, we're going to do a little just promotional for it because that playthrough will not be here on my channel, but will be on Superfang's channel. So the link to the first scenario, which is actually the prologue scenario, should be up at the time of this video at the end of this one, as well as in the description. And every Friday from here on out, the next 2 months, I suppose, you'll get a new video of us playing through the Circle Undone.
Yeah, I'm super excited. This campaign, I was already excited for playing it, but it was a joy to playing it with you. And yeah, I can't wait for y'all to see it.
Yeah, it was a lot of fun. We're gonna stay away from spoilers from the run because it has its moments for sure. And the campaign itself just came out in a re-released format about a month ago. So hopefully all of you who have not had the chance to play it are starting to play it and can come check on us to see how we fared as well. So what we're gonna do as part of this little promo is talk about our decks and our investigators who we played through, and then share a little bit of memories that we've played in the past for this campaign, because it has been out, as I mentioned before. But let's first start with who we played. Again, we won't talk about more than the level 0 decks. First, we'll just talk about Diana Stanley and Carolyn Fern, the two investigators we played. So, Superfang, want to start off with Diana?
Absolutely. Yeah, I love Diana Stanley. She was one of the first investigators I've ever played, actually. When I was first getting into this game, I played her through Dumbest Legacy, and she did really well. Obviously, in 4-player, I think she does great. So I wanted to try her out in 2-player. I have played her in 2-player before, but I also wanted to try her with this somewhat limited card pool, right? We don't have Dream Eaters or Innsmouth in this card pool. Um, but yeah, I love Diana. I love her kind of play style. And the deck is pretty much like a classic Diana, has lots of cancels, things like Order Protection, Deny Existence, of course, Dark Prophecy, and Delay the Inevitable, of course, as well. Other than that, it's basically just lots of spells like the Azure Flame and Shrivelings. I also have a couple Sixth Senses in there for some cloovering whenever I need to, especially in the first scenario when we get to that. And I do have one customizable card in there, Living Ink. Um, it's more willpower, and you can't go wrong with more willpower in Diana. Um, and then lastly, just some sort of emergency stuff. I have a couple Enchanted Blades in there. It's very good at level 0 for Diana, notably because in the early game, she can use her fist to attack things with it and also deal some extra damage if she needs to. Um, so yeah, I think this deck turned out pretty great, and there it is. That's the level 0 deck for it.
Yeah, there's a couple of things down here at the bottom, your side deck of things that you may or may not have been able to upgrade into. Is there anything here that wasn't in the level 0 deck that's worth pointing out?
Um, Well, I mean, obviously, the key things here is some more cancels, like I've had worse, and deny fives eventually happen, and of course the upgraded wards. Um, but yeah, ultimately, just lots of upgrades. I do have a couple of interesting purchases. I think I really like Brother Xavier in this deck. He did eventually get into the deck. He turned out to be very good. Um, and Branded Cthulhu's. Turns out they're a really good card, especially in Diana, because it basically fills the role of Enchanted Blades, where you can early game use the fist boost, or I should say, using your fist for Branded Cthulhu's attack, and then eventually transitioning into using the willpower for it. So those turned out to be very, very good. I think the last thing in there that's not level 0 is the Binder's Jar. Binder's Jar was huge. I won't give any spoilers, but turns out locking enemies underneath the jar was really good, and giving me the extra arcane slots was also very, very useful.
And it's also really, really funny.
It is.
Yeah, I enjoyed this deck a lot, and as Superbank points out, I forgot to mention, yeah, we just played with the cards that have been released in the new format, so all of you have caught up in terms of the cycles, everything that's been re-released, so not including Dream Eaters, not including Innsmouth, but including things like Edge of the Earth, where you get those Brain of Cthulhu spells from, and Scarlet Keys, where you get Binder's Jar. So
Yep.
kind of fun to play with a a collection that is a little bit unusual, not what you would have played when Diana first was released. But that's kind of the fun about this game, right? You get to go back and look at old investigators with a new look.
Absolutely.
All right, and then I played Carolyn Fern, and I have no upgrades posted here because this was a down the rabbit hole deck. So there was nothing that there may have been one thing that entered in that's not here, but pretty much what you see is what you get. We played more or less kind of Clue and Fighter, but there was a lot of overlap in terms of being able to do things on your own. Circle Undone is infamous for that, without any other spoilers. But yeah, I did kind of a synergy deck. We have one copy of Close the Circle for all of these different colors that you see here, and that is a really good card for Carolyn. But her thing is about healing horror. She really likes to do that, and I have Peter Sylvester and Liquid Courage to help that out. I think also because we were playing two-player and had to be on our own quite a bit, I didn't end up healing Diana as much as I might have hoped I would have, but this was kind of a self-sufficient deck. You have the power words, which are kind of important with the deck too. The other thing that Superfeng pointed out right away when we went over our decks at the beginning of um, the campaign was, hey, there's 19 assets here, 12 events, and 0 skills. I don't
I wonder why.
I don't necessarily recommend doing this all the time, but Carolyn is an investigator where you can kind of get away with stacking up lots of your good numbers, and that's kind of what we went with. But yes, as you allude to, there's another reason why I did this.
Yeah, I gotta admit, some I know the little tiny bit spoilers, but Close the Circle, I am very impressed in Carolyn Fern now. It's pretty phenomenal, I would say.
It was legit, especially in some tight spots. Actually, I think I got use of everything in this deck that you can see here in some way, shape, or form, and it was fun. So I hope you will see how this sort of evolves into upgrading basically everything here. All right, that I think is about it for previewing what we did, and now I thought we would just have a little bit of fun at the end and talk about the very first time that we played this campaign. Again, without giving you all any spoilers, but just kind of when did you play this? What was your group like at that point? And anything else you want to share, Superfang?
Yeah, I mean, so when I started playing, I was actually part of a couple of different groups. A lot of overlap between them, just because we had more than 4 people who were interested in this game, and so Circle Undone was actually my blind playthrough. I was playing it with a quote unquote side. It wasn't really a side group, whatever, because we also did Edge of the Earth blind with them, as well as Forgotten Age blind. I did a lot of blind playthroughs with them. We kind of split those up. Um, so like the two groups that I had, this group was doing Blind Circle Undone. We had just done Forgotten Age blind, um, and that was extremely stressful. So when we were going into Circle Undone blind, the only things we knew was that willpower good seems pretty reasonable. So I brought a Leo Anderson deck, fairly standard, and it was just get the gun out, get the flamethrower out, lots of allies, Leo DeLuca, beat cop, stuff like that. Um, Obviously, it was a full card pull at that point, so I believe this is up to Innsmouth. So yeah, there's Faustian bargains in there.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, turns out flamethrower is good. That's about all I could say.
Who else was on your team? Was it a four-player group as well?
It was a 3-player group, and I'm actually trying to remember. I don't actually recall who the other people were, but I was the main fighter. I'll have to think on it. Maybe I can remember. But yeah, I was the main fighter. It was nice at the beginning, though. Obviously, no spoilers. To have that 3 intellect with Lee Anderson by himself was very useful. This is also the deck that I learned about the power of swift reload, which is great with flamethrower. Basically, have
Wow.
4 copies of flamethrower.
Oh yeah.
Pretty
Wow.
good.
Well, looks like this was you knew what you're doing in this one. Without any other spoilers, can you say if you successfully completed the campaign?
Oh yeah, we definitely did.
Okay. All right. My blind playthrough, which was about 3 years ago now, was the first campaign that I had completed with the particular group I played with, and I had only completed one other campaign beforehand.
Wow.
So I think I'd played maybe two. I think I'd done Dunwich, Carcosa, and then I played with this group with the core set, and then because I didn't want to go back and play the ones I had just played, we started with the Circle Undone. And I decided I thought I knew what I was doing in this game, and I decided, oh, well, I'll play Preston. He seems kind of goofy. And if you look at this deck, there's a lot of things to say about it, but the first thing to say is comparing it with Superfang's. This is the end of the campaign. I had only 22 experience in the deck, which tells you
Oh
something about
goodness.
how well we did.
What are you? Were you playing Underworld Market before it was a card?
uh, you know, early on, I wanted to play all the cards, and that was my way of doing it.
Amazing.
This was pre-taboo, pre-me. I think I knew about it, but I didn't really want to get into taboo at that point. So you can see some untabooed cards there. What this was originally a Dark Horse deck, and then I decided that I didn't understand or like Dark Horse, and transitioned into just spending money, I suppose. But
Hey,
there's some elements of Dark Horse in here still.
Key of Yeast Preston seems good.
It was. So I think we did like okay. We did not win the campaign. I think we
Okay.
got completely bodied in the last one. And
Oh
it
man.
took probably about a year and a half for that group to want to play the campaign again for that reason. But yeah, it's just a pile of cards. I will say that against all odds, I don't know if you've ever played this card before, Superfang. In fact, I'll let you
I
see
have
the
never
card.
played that card. No, I just know that it's the cover to Eldritch Horror.
That's true. It lets you basically try to reveal additional chaos tokens to
Oh, I
pull the one that
see.
you want, and
Okay, it's Jacqueline's ability.
but it's the
Interesting.
number of the difference between your base skill
Right.
and the test difficulty,
Right.
and it's a good card I think in Calvin, and it's a good card in Preston,
Yeah.
and I will just say there was a particular scenario where I went fishing for the Elder Sign.
All right. All right.
Yep. Otherwise, this was probably a total disaster. And that's okay. I still had fun and kept with the game, so there you go.
Nice.
I played with Marie and Rita. Clearly, mine was the worst deck. The other ones were interesting, but I think they at least did something. Uh, I do remember that the Marie deck had like a lantern in it, though. So I mean, we were trying all kinds of stuff. But we had a good time, and I still play with that group quite a bit today. So, even if you are kind of bumbling through the card pool, as long as you have fun, then stick with it. You'll get better at the game for sure. And it
Absolutely.
was a lot of fun playing with you for Circle Undone, and kind of seeing what it was like with two-player, and when we knew what was coming. So if it's your first time playing Circle Undone, it's a tough campaign. If you've played it a few times and can kind of tech for things, then it becomes a little bit more of a fun puzzle. And I think that's how I felt playing with you.
Yeah, there was definitely a lot of great moments, and as you said, it was very nice to know what was coming, because that is always a rough part about this campaign in particular. But
Yeah.
yeah, it was an awesome time.
All right. In closing, again, the playthroughs are going to be linked here at the bottom of this video. Superfang, I guess I forgot to mention, this was an IRL campaign, right? So,
Yeah,
yeah, we met up and were able to play through all the scenarios. So you will see our hands, you will see us chatting away as it goes on, but also
drop tokens on
Superfang's,
the floor.
yes, drop tokens on the floor, knock tokens off the table. That's also a fun part of this game. As well as Superfang's really cool setup. If you haven't seen the green screen, letting you actually see the cards on the screen very well, it's fun, and it was neat to see that in person as well. So check it out, and you should be able to do that right now.